You know what it is, you know who it is. This is Rich Warrior Lifestyle Podcast. I am Trig, the Rich Warrior, and today's topic is how to lose weight fast. I have about, let's see, I got 6 key things that I thought of when it comes to losing weight fast. Hey, Rich Warriors, all my warriors out there, you know, I thank y'all for tuning in. This is my 2nd episode, and you know, I'm loving this. I'm feeling right at home. You know, I got my, right now I'm fasting. I'm doing my 24-hour fast today, and I'll be, you know, in the kitchen later, and we'll be filming that for Trig's kitchen segment and things like that. So I'm fasting today and I'm drinking some ginger turmeric tea. Fire. Helps with inflammation. You know, yeah, let's get into it. Okay. Today's topic once again is how to lose weight fast. And when I started, just a quick little, you know, background of why, you know, I believe that this is, you know, it's going to really help you. And when I started, I was about 30 pounds over. I'm like 145 at that time. I was like 175. I'm talking about, man, it was like sick and tired of being sick and tired. So what I did was really, one of the first things I did is I called a friend that I knew that was pretty healthy. And he told me some key things about, you know, exercising, because I thought just running a mile was just going to be at that point, you know, especially like almost 10 years, about 10 years later, after being in high school, being great in sports and stuff like that, football, we always played outside and played every sport outside, but I mainly played football for school. But like 10 years later, I'm like, damn, you know, me doing what I was doing, man, I'm just out of shape, sick, sinus problems, overeating, overindulging in, you know, in alcohol, marijuana, Percocets, Molly. Man, we was having fun. And I say that, you know, to say this because this is why I came up with this list. I went back and I thought about what I did, you know, and if you watch the first episode, I would do those 10 things first, you know, those 10 key elements to excellent health. I would focus more on that while doing this, but more focus on that. But some of it is similar. So the first thing on my list and what I did when I started was sprints and jogging, like long distance jogging. So what I did was I had this football field with a track around it near me where I was at the time. And I would go out there. And this is something that I always hated, even in football, 100-yard dashes, whether it's on a track, on a football field. I hated them, but I was always, you know, the first or second person finishing them, because I remember like, yo, I just had it in my mind. Like, I gotta be great. I gotta be perfect. I gotta be my best self. I always thought like that. But at the same time, I was nervous, anxious, a little bit doubtful, but my determination to be my best self took over. But so I'm out there doing so what I started off doing was my sprints. You know, I'm doing my sprints, going crazy. Like, and when I started, I wasn't fancy, man. I got any sneakers I had in the house, any shorts. I ain't buying no workout clothes, whatever I had that was, you know, close to workout clothes that I already had. And my mindset was like, I'll buy that other stuff when I'm really serious about this, when I earn it, you know what I'm saying? When I really stay consistent, give it my all and things like that. And, you know, I was afraid, and I've always been like this deep down. Like, I didn't want to, because I remember one time I lost my breath at football practice. I didn't even know how to catch my breath because that's how hard I used to go, but I couldn't catch my breath. And my coach looked at me like, breathe in your nose, out your mouth. Like, it's normal. I'm like, I'm like, yo, I don't know. So when I started doing that, you know what I mean? That came back into my mind like, man, I don't feel like this shit kind of scary. Like, cause I know me, I'm gonna push it. And you don't have to do this, people. You don't have to push it that hard. But for me, it was like I had to do this, man. I gotta do this. I have to change my life. So I'm out there doing my sprints, you know what I mean? I remember, breathe, like proper ways to breathe, you know what I mean? Proper like form and techniques and stuff like that, because I used to run a lot and things like that. So I'm out there I started off doing my sprints and long distance. So I would switch them up. And at that time, I might have been I would switch them up, but sometimes I did both. But I would go out there. I started off just doing 100-yard dashes on the track, 100-yard dashes. I might walk back or jog back to the other end, or I might wait at the other end. And after I started doing that, I'm like, let me make this more intense. So I started doing push-ups. So I would run, do my 100-yard dash as fast as I could, as fast as I possibly could, get down and do 10 push-ups. And then as soon as I was working a little bit outside of my comfort zone. That's what I noticed. Like, I worked a little bit outside of my comfort zone. So, I wouldn't want to get completely comfortable. So I would start as soon as I felt the need to, but not in a comfort zone. So I was hitting my push-ups, doing my 100-yard dashes, things like that. And I bring this up because them sprints, it's a full body exercise. It's a full body exercise, and it's a quick way to start the sweating and getting rid of those toxins and burn that fat, because you're working every muscle in the body almost. Running these sprints, that was key in sculpting my body and having it look a certain way. So with that, definitely, get them sprints in. Definitely get them sprints in. I used to be out there exhausted. And when you're running them sprints and you're getting tired, man, lean over if you need to, but you want to be standing up with your hands over your head, in the nose, out the mouth, until you catch that breath, and then you want to just breathe normally. Let your body breathe normally. And then when you feel like you need to inhale some more, get a deep one in. And you notice my mouth is not like wide open, blowing it out, because when you're blowing it out, you still want something to go back in, some oxygen to go back in. So keeping it in there. But yeah, man, that's the sprints. You can start off with 2 sprints. You can start off with 1 sprint. Just get started. And that's the key. Do something every day. And definitely walking every day. But next on that, in that same category, is jogging. I was doing a lot of long distance. I started off with 1, I jumped to 2, I jumped to 4, I jumped to 8, and I jumped to 10. And I was doing about 40 miles a week. And in the middle of that, I would say 30 to 40. In the middle of that, I still was doing my push-ups. I would do 10 at a time. Within like a 8-mile run, I might do about 100, 150 push-ups, and it made it more strenuous and increased the intensity. So therefore, I was burning a lot of fat by gaining this muscle. The muscle was burning the fat. You know what I'm saying? So I was my point is, I increased the intensity on just a long distance jog. And one thing I learned from my friend is I sprint up hills and I slow it down, more controlled movements going down hills. And when I'm running just on flat, I just keep a nice, good pace outside of my comfort zone. I keep my abs kind of clenched, not sucking it in, but like as if you're bracing something. Like if something was to hit your stomach, you're bracing it, because you're training your midsection, your stomach, to be flat. You know what I'm saying? It's not bothering or constricting you from breathing naturally and properly. You're just bracing it and keeping it as flat as possible. You can let it go when you feel like you need to, but you're clenching those abs to strengthen them and to train your stomach to stay flat. And you will definitely, it'll be a lot of sweating. It'll be, And when you're doing those long distance and those sprints, man, I advise you to get some headphones, any type of headphones or speaker out there, whether you're listening to music, some motivational, you read, it's an ebook, something that can, keep your mind off of this is tough, this is that. It'll help you get to the point where like, man, I'm doing something great for myself, because you really are. But just a reminder of like, yo, I'm doing something good for myself. I'm doing the right thing. I know why I'm doing this. You know what I'm saying? I'm listening to the rich warrior. He did it. I can do it. They did it. We can do it. You know what I'm saying? We warriors, man. We warriors. Be courageous enough to be healthy. This is what really changed my life. I never used to want to read books. I never felt fully confident all the time, or as much as I do now. All the time I'm feeling confident. You know, you have your ups and downs, but at the end of the day, I know I'm him. I know I'm him. And if I'm not following these rules, man, then I'm like, okay, I'm just not following the rules. I'm still that dude, but just not following my own, system and processes. So the next thing is to, when you're starting off, or, just in general, man, do basic exercises. And sprints and jogging is one of them, but push-ups is another one of them. You could do different variations of push-ups: wide, narrow, regular, arm taps. I'll demonstrate some of this stuff, in my course that I'm creating in the background, but we'll get more into that. Sit-ups, crunches, stick to the basics: jumping jacks, jump rope, and definitely do your stretches before and after your workout. And you definitely want to do, especially when high intensity workouts, you want to do a cool down. So if you're running sprints, after you finish your sprints, jog back 2 to 3 times. If you're running long distance, slow the speed down before you completely stop. That's what you call a cool down, to kind of get your body and your breathing to kind of, what they would say, to get you going in the right direction to stop, to get you, to that without making an extreme transition from heart beating super fast to, and body is moving super fast and, things like that, to just walking or being still and things like that. Unless it's an emergency, then, we do what you need to do. But definitely stick to the basics, man. Stick to the basics. What I like to do every day is, I start off like this: 20 push-ups, 20 squats, and 20 reps of some type of ab workout, morning, afternoon, and evening. That's just the basics. You do that every day and walk, you know what I'm saying? You can gradually add everything else. You're going to be good. I'm telling you, you're going to be good. But just space repetition, a little bit every day, a little bit every day, a little bit every day. You can't take one day off from the basic, the 20, the 20 reps of push-ups, squats, in the abs. You can't take that one day off, or even 2, honestly. Because this thing is to me, it's an art, but it is some foundational principles. Next on the list is eat healthier versions of the foods that you already like. Eat healthier versions of the foods that you already like, meaning eat mostly, if not all, organic. Mostly, if not all organic. I'm going to even take it a step further, especially if you're in a rural area or you live close. Build a relationship with a farmer or farmers, and start to get your food from them. It may be even cheaper, things like that, but somebody that you've talked to the person that produced this food, that grew this food, and things like that. And that's the route that I will begin to take in the future, for sure. And I got some big things, that I'm working on with that as well. So, substitute ingredients, as for example, I substituted brown sugar for coconut sugar, which looks brown. I substituted whole wheat flour for coconut flour and almond flour. I substitute heavy cream with coconut cream or yogurt with a mixture of yogurt and what would you use with it? Mixture of yogurt and maybe like some almond milk or something like that. Like swap it out, you know. Definitely, one thing I always do organic is poultry, chicken or salmon. Those and turkey. Those are really the only three meats I really eat, and I probably do that, you know, out of a month, maybe 1 week of eating meat out of a month. You know, like 6 days, because I don't eat a full 7 days anyways. I only eat 6 days a week, and I fast for 24 hours on the seventh day. And, you know, definitely. So yeah, man, one thing that I definitely learned that helped me so much is eating as much fruits as possible. Add them to as many meals as you can. If you can't add them, have a smoothie with the meal. Have a juice with the meal. You know, eat whole, you know, fruits and things like that. I would definitely try to make sure these are organic and the best quality as possible. You definitely want to get good quality fruits. I do my smoothies with my NutriBullet. I juice. I add them to oatmeal. Add them to my salads. Definitely get you a lot of fruit. I consume mostly fruits. I'll say that. That's something that I said in the last year that definitely helped me to, you know, feel a lot better mentally and energetically, increase my energy and my mental clarity. And I got that from Yaki Awaken. That is he the truth, man. I definitely, tap into Yaki Awaken. Definitely tap into Yaki Awaken for sure. And definitely when it comes to substituting these foods or and I would do this right now. Go into your cabinet and read the ingredients. And once you read the ingredients, Google them. Keep doing research on them. You know, notice for yourselves. Notice for yourselves. Every time I go out to eat, I'm reading the ingredients. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times you can't get everything that's 100% natural. So I'm looking like what is closest to natural as I can get. So I'm reading the ingredients. I'm Googling stuff like, and I've been doing this for, you know, almost a decade, or if not a decade, you know, so definitely. So the next thing on the list is what I'm currently doing right now and what I do every week. Fasting. I go and detoxing. And I'm actually detoxing by, you know, drinking this tea. You know, I'm detoxing my body at the same time. And I guess I would say a true fast is nothing. So I would say I'm more detoxing right now. But I do fast, you know, without nothing at time. Every day, I'm not eating 12 hours every day. And a lot of that time is when I'm asleep. So that's like the hack with that. So yeah, but definitely detoxing and fasting. Research, and look at the ingredients on these detoxes. Go with your gut feeling, who you trust, who feels reputable, who has great reviews. And like I said, I'll recommend this company again, Renew Herbs, renewherbs.com. It's not a sponsor. They're not sponsoring me, but in the future they will, because, you know, I'm speaking into it. You know, I'm creating this thing as I go. So, but yeah, definitely Renew Herbs. And I said a name wrong on the first episode. It is Robin Anthony. And I think I said Anthony Robin or something like that. But Robin Anthony, Renew Herbs, excellent products. And I only can vouch for her because that is the only thing that I've taken more than the other ones. When I first started, I got some stuff from Whole Foods, like a Candida cleanse. I don't really remember, but I think just read the ingredients. If you read the ingredients, you will know. If you really look at them ingredients, you will know. You will know what's, you know what I'm saying, closest to nature as intended. And I got that saying from Kevin Trudeau. Shout out to Kevin Trudeau, man. Definitely. That was the first person that got me to where I am now. That's how it started for me. So I definitely recommend you read natural cures that they don't want you to know about. The best, if I think it is, I'm not 100% sure, but I don't believe it's too many more people that sold that many books in the health industry, health and wellness industry. but Natural Cures They Do Not Want You to Know About by Kevin Trudeau. Amazing. Amazing. Anything on health, those my two go-tos are Kevin Trudeau and Yaki Awaken. And I actually done those some of those things that they suggested in those, in their teachings and things like that. And I seen the results, man. I still see them to this day. They're still a part of my life to this day. We don't invent the truth. The truth is what it is, and you will know when you actually do, because the saying is, to know and not to do is not to know. So let's move on. Moving on. All right, the next thing is more of a experience that you experience, especially in the beginning and just ongoing, man, making this a lifestyle. This is what this is about, making this a lifestyle. This is not a diet. This is not something that you're about to do and, go back. No, this is a lifestyle. This is supposed to be fun. This is supposed to benefit you. This is an investment in you. This is rooted in self-love. So know in the beginning, you will experience pain, discomfort, frustration, and it's short term. It's short term. And the reason why I say it's short term, because, and I really mean the pain, the discomfort, really from like things like the exercises and like fasting. But it's short term. A 24-hour fast out of 6 days is, it's short term. A 30-minute, 40-minute run or sprints or exercises is short term compared to the 24 hours of the rest of the day that you have and things like that. So I believe that when you really substitute those ingredients, you're gonna like that better because of how you feel, and the taste just tastes more cleaner and just more pure. It's a better feeling for your body. Like you feel energized. You feel like it feels like, medicine after I eat some of the foods that I eat. But definitely just know in the beginning, it will be, painful, frustrating. You experience discomfort, still to this day, because I like to push it. I like high intensity. So definitely. But it gets easier and more enjoyable, and make it as enjoyable as you can. Like I said, get your speakers, some headphones, do what you need to do, man. Make this positive investment in yourself that is rooted in self-love. Because this is what this is about, man. Trig the Rich Warrior, man. I became, it's like my alter ego, but it's really who I am, but it's rooted in self-love. This podcast is rooted in self-love to tell you that, like, this is your body. These are your thoughts. This is your mind. This is you are with you at all times. So why not, invest in yourself, make the changes gradually, and just, be as optimistic as you can. And know that you're not going to always be optimistic. I'm not, but I'm rooted in self-love. I quickly go back to like, yeah, no, that's not a good investment. I don't want to think like that. I don't want to, I don't want to eat that. I shouldn't have ate that. Things like that. So definitely, man. And the last thing on my list, is definitely get plenty of sunlight by doing your walks every day, fresh air by doing your walks every day, and hydration, whether it's from H2O water, some purified or spring water, or from your juices, what they call H3O. You can juice, and I would do a combination of both each day or as much as possible, even the smoothies. And definitely for me, what has become so important to me is sleep. I'm not getting none less than 7. I don't care if I wake up at 6 hours and 30 minutes, I'm laying in the bed until I at least get my 7. I don't care. I'm not budging. I don't care what nobody say. I'm getting at least 7. I'm pushing for the 8. And I would say more so on the 7:30 to 8 hours of sleep every day. I'm not playing. And the times that I don't get it is like, nah, this is not self-love, man. This is not self-love. But yeah, man, I really believe this will help you to lose weight fast, because it helped me lose weight fast. And hey, we're all different, but I believe these are core principles into losing weight and becoming healthy and scoping your body. I did it. You can do it. They did it. You can do it. My rich warriors, thank y'all for tuning in to the second episode, How to Lose Weight Fast. Let's go.